How's it going, guys? We're back with another awesome episode. This time we're going to be checking out the European Union explained by the channel CGP Grey. As always, a link to the original video will be in the description section down below, so go check that out. And yeah, we're going to check this out. I don't know much about the European Union. I know Europe is a continent. European Union is obviously like a bunch of countries gathering together, to police that part of the world, I believe. So beyond that, I don't know anything. So we're going to check it out.
Where is the European Union? Obviously here somewhere, but much like the European continent itself, which has an unclear boundary, the European Union also has some fuzzy edges to it. To start, the official members of the European Union are, in decreasing order of population, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, Poland, Romania, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Greece, Belgium, Portugal, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Sweden, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Slovakia, Finland, Ireland, Croatia, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Estonia, Cyprus, Luxembourg, and Malta.
Okay, so what's up with this little guy in the middle? There's an empty spot here. They are not part of the European Union, but they're surrounded by it. And then I guess this region here as well. Oh, and then I think Britain left it. Actually, that's why they call it Brexit, right?
The edges of the EU will probably continue to expand further out as there are other countries in various stages of trying to become a member. How the EU works is hideously complicated and a story for another time, but for this video you need know only three things. First, countries pay membership dues, and second, vote on the laws they all must follow, and third, citizens of member countries are automatically European Union citizens as well.
So okay, so you become a European citizen. So if Iceland or whatever it was that it showed earlier that was trying to be part of it, let me see. Yeah, it was talking about expanding outward. Yeah, right here in the green. Maybe it's not Iceland, whatever that is up there. So then they automatically get a Europe passport. And it's crazy they have to pay their dues too.
Well, this last means that if you're a citizen of any of these countries, you are free to live and work and retire in any of the others, which is nice, especially if you think your country is too big or too small or too hot or too cold. The European Union gives you options. By the way, did you notice how all three of these statements have asterisks attached to this unhelpful footnote? Well, get used to it. Europe loves asterisks that add exceptions to complicated agreements. These three, for example, point us towards the first bit of border fuzziness with Norway, Iceland, and Little Liechtenstein, none of which are in the European Union, but if you're an EU citizen, you can live in these countries, and Norwegians, Icelanders, or Liechtensteiners can live in yours. Why? In exchange for freedom of movement of people, they have to pay membership fees to the European Union, even though they aren't a part of it, and thus don't get a say in its laws that they still have to follow. This arrangement is the European Economic Area, and it sounds like a terrible deal were it not for that asterisk which grants EEA, but not EU members, a pass on some areas of law, notably farming and fishing, something a country like, say, Iceland might care quite a lot about running themselves. Between the European Union and the European Economic Area, the continent looks mostly covered, with the notable exception of Switzerland, who remains neutral and fiercely independent, except for her participation in the Schengen area. If you're from a country that keeps her borders extremely clean and or well patrolled, the Schengen area is a bit mind-blowing because it's an agreement between countries to take a meh approach to borders. In the Schengen area, international boundaries look like this. No border officers or passport checks of any kind. You can walk from Lisbon to Tallinn without identification or the need to answer the question business or pleasure. For Switzerland, being part of Schengen but not part of the European Union means that non-Swiss can check in anytime they like, but they can never stay. This kumbaya approach to borders isn't appreciated by everyone in the EU, most loudly the United Kingdom and Ireland, who argue that islands are different. Thus, to get onto these fair isles, you'll need a passport and a good reason. Britannia's reluctance to get fully involved with the EU brings us
now that makes sense. I can see their point. Whoops.
To the next topic.
Let's see.
A good reason. Britannia's reluctance to get fully involved with the EU brings us to the next topic, money. The European Union has its own fancy currency, the euro, used by the majority but not all of the European Union members. This economic union is called the Eurozone, and to join a country...
So Switzerland doesn't use the euro as well then? Okay, that probably makes it hard.
Country must first reach certain financial goals, and lying about reaching those goals is certainly not something anyone would do. Most of the non-Eurozone members, when they...
think there's something else to that.
Meet the goals will ditch their local currency in favor of the euro, but 3 of them, Denmark, Sweden, and of course the United Kingdom, have asterisks attached to the euro section of the treaty, giving them a permanent opt-out. And weirdly, 4 tiny European countries, Andorra, San Marino, Monaco, and Vatican City, have an asterisk, giving them the exact reverse.
Okay, so the British pound. Okay, so can you use euros in Britain, or can you only use the pound? I wonder.
The right to print and use euros as their money, despite not being in the European Union at all.
Wait, maybe they just answered my question here. Hold on.
A section of the treaty, giving them a permanent opt-out. And weirdly, 4 tiny European countries, Andorra, San Marino, Monaco, and Vatican City, have an asterisk, giving them the exact reverse. The right to print and use euros as their money, despite not being in the European Union at all. So that's the big picture. There's the EU, which makes all
confusing.
the rules, the Eurozone inside of it with a common currency, the European Economic Area outside of it where people can move freely, and the selective Schengen for countries that think borders just aren't worth the hassle. As you can see, there's some strange overlap with these borders, but we're not done talking.
Yeah, this is definitely very, very, very interesting. I did not know it was this involved or this confusing, to be honest with you. So the Schengen area, they're not even in the European Economic Area, but they're just kind of like in the Schengen area. Wow.
About complications by a long shot, once again, because empire. So Portugal and Spain have islands from their colonial days that they've never parted with. These are the Madeira and Canary Islands off the coast of Africa and the Azores well into the Atlantic. Because these islands are Spanish and Portuguese, they're part of the European Union as well. Adding a few islands to the EU's borders isn't a big deal until you consider France, the queen of not letting go. She still holds on to a bunch of islands in the Caribbean, Reunion off the coast of Madagascar, and French Guiana in South America. As far as France is concerned, these are France too, which single-handedly extends the edge-to-edge distance of the European Union across a third of the Earth's circumference. Collectively, these bits of France, Spain, and Portugal are called the outermost regions, and they're the result of the simple answer to empire: just keep it. On the other hand, there's the United Kingdom, the master of maintaining complicated relationships with her quasi-former lands, and she's by no means alone in this on such an empire-happy continent. The Netherlands and Denmark and France, again, all have what the European Union calls overseas territories. They're not part of the European Union, instead they're a bottomless well of asterisks due to their complicated relationships with both the European Union and their associated countries, which makes it hard to say anything meaningful about them as a group, but in general, European Union law doesn't apply to these places, though in general, the people who live there are European Union citizens because in general, they have the citizenship of their associated country, so in general, they can live anywhere in the EU they want, but in general, other European Union citizens can't freely move to these territories.
I was actually just getting ready to say something about that. I wonder if anybody can just go live in the Caribbean, you know, but no, they can't. But the people from the Caribbean can go up there. That's very interesting. It makes sense, though. I mean, the islands are only so big, so you don't want everybody there. It would just ruin the economics.
Which makes these places a weird, semi-permeable membrane of the European Union proper, and the final part we're going to talk about in detail, even though there are still many more one-off asterisks you might stumble upon, such as the Isle of Man, or those Spanish cities in North Africa, or Gibraltar, who pretends to be part of southwest England sometimes, or that region in Greece where it's totally legal to ban women, or Saba and friends who are part of the Netherlands and so should be part of the EU but aren't, or the Faroe Islands, upon which while citizens of Denmark live, they lose their EU citizenship, and on it goes.
Wow.
These asterisks almost never end, but this video must.
I mean, that just left me with more questions than anything, guys. What is up with all these asterisks? All this stuff about this and that. Let's see what some of these comments are all about here. Or actually, let me put myself on the other side over there. Anything political is too complex to explain exists. This is a story for another time, right? Yeah, let's see. Iceland isn't in the Schengen area, not because they believe islands are different, but because the UK does, and so to prevent a border along Northern Ireland, we stuck with UK. In the event of a united Ireland, I can see mass support for joining the Schengen area. Okay, yeah. Lying about money, certainly not something anyone would do. Zooms in on Greece. Yes, what is this? Why is this camera pointed at me? Greece says. What is Greece going on? What is... They didn't know the reality. Wake up. So Greece may have lied about how much their currency was worth. It says, thank you, dude. After all, it's coherence from everyone that Greeks are like the text. I'm not agreeing with it. It's just a comment I'm reading. Um, yeah, so he's just hating on the Greeks. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But anyways, European Union, guys, very, very confusing. Very confusing. So maybe I'll just get into some more stuff about the European Union. I don't know, because there's a lot to learn there. So, anyways, as always, the link to the original video will be in the description section down below. Go ahead and hit that like button on the way down, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate it. Only helps the channel grow. It's completely free, and it just, like I said, it just helps the channel grow. Helps other people see videos that are just people like you that like these videos as well. So, you guys take care, and you have a super fun, awesome day. I'll see you in the next one.